I know a lot of legal experts thought that he was going to be found guilty. It was a stupid tweet. I think he would take it back. He wouldn't admit that, but I think he probably would if he could do it over again. But I think it does make the landscape pretty crazy going forward, where executives can say things publicly that they would be very careful of saying before. So if you're an investor, I think you now have to look at the formal declarations, regulatory filings to find out real information. Musk has just made this an incredibly informal way of talking with people.
So you think stupid, not intentionally misleading, but it proved very damaging, of course, to the shareholders.
It did. The share price has done very well over since 2018. So I don't know what these guys were investing in to lose billions of dollars, unless it was some sort of exotic, maybe option or something like that. The shares have risen over the last 4 years. If those plaintiffs, some of the statements that they made said they were trying to look out for their well-being, these sorts of things. Well, the share price has delivered over the long term. So the SEC has fined Twitter and Musk. So in terms of a regulatory environment, that's been enforced. But did they prove that they lost billions of dollars? Obviously, they didn't, because this was a jury trial.
Do you think this will change the way that Elon Musk tweets? Or will it change the way that other CEOs tweet in future?
Well, sure. I think the voice of the CEO now can get more informal. And I think especially in tech companies, I think you'll see CEOs becoming very informal and making claims, even if they can justifiably say, well, I thought that this was going to happen. Right. And this is what Musk's defense is. Well, I reasonably thought this was going to happen, but it didn't happen. So, oh, well. I think especially in tech, you'll see CEOs make claims that may or may not be true, but they're leading in that direction. So investors are just going to have to be much more wary, and they're going to have to do their research before they take positions in markets.
But surely now that Elon Musk has done this, and he's had this, I mean, it's a reprimand, isn't it? It's a public reprimand, even if he was found not guilty. People will have to be very careful. They won't have the same defense because of what has happened to Elon Musk here.
Right. They won't. And again, I think it's from a regulatory perspective and from let's say, an investor relations or communications perspective, all of a sudden it's the Wild West. You can kind of say what you want. You can kind of say, I think we're going to go private at a certain price. And if it doesn't happen, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, well, it didn't work out. And, again, you may get a slap on the wrist. $40 million isn't really a slap on the wrist, but you can get a slap on the wrist from the SEC. But investors have to be very careful, and investors have to do their research before taking positions. And this is really what the basis of the lawsuit was about. So those executives, I guess, can be a bit more careless in their communications. I guess that's what it tells me with the finding of the suit is executives can be a bit more careless with their communications.